going on, guys? This is Brian and Brian. I think we're gonna call this was it the message in the machine? I'm the
Yes.
message because I cover the marketing end of things, and Brian is the operations guy, and so he's the machine part of it.
Yep.
Um, and so who I am is I own a marketing agency that I'm actively working on shutting down because I want to teach business owners how to market themselves and create their own content. So that's the long and short of it.
I also own a marketing agency that I am shutting down in the effect of how would you put it, Brian? I explain this so many different ways that I try
Mhm.
to explain to people because I'm actually still functioning as an agency. It's
Yep.
just with the twist.
I think really what it is. Sorry, I got to come out of this shirt, this hoodie. I think what it is you are pivoting, like a different kind of pivot. You've done a lot of corporate work and stuff like that, and so it's kind of recontextualizing what your business is and who your target audience is. Um, and
Well,
you're go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say thank you for curing my brain fart there. Pivoting is probably the right word there. That I'm pivoting my agency away from that strictly corporate fractional CMO thing and going more with the small business, medium sized business. And for lack of a better way, I'm an agency, a business mechanic is what I like to call myself
Mhm.
for the business owners that actually want to fix things and not just have marketing for marketing's sake. So that's the long and the long of it, I guess.
Okay, why I adjust here, kind of tell the audience what a fractional CMO is because I feel like that's something that me and you know what it is, but they may
Right.
not be aware of it.
So it's not very popular in the Midwest here, the term, anyways. A fractional CMO is essentially a somebody that comes in to a company, usually a larger one that doesn't have a marketing team or has a smaller marketing team, and they don't have they don't have a chief marketing officer. So they need someone to come in to do the more high level strategy and organization of either a team or the company in, as it pertains to their marketing. So that's kind of what I do. I step into a company, or I used to do this when I worked for the big corporations. I step in and there's many times it ends up being a long range contract for 1, 2, 3, 5 years, something like that, that you're acting as their chief marketing officer and running their team and running their marketing for them. Um, it's kind of that bridge between super large company with massive marketing and smaller business that when I say smaller, I mean smaller big business that has huge budget, but and they need to scale and they don't have a marketing team or they have a really small one.
Okay. And it's one of those things I've done. See, you said it, fractional CMO, and I realized I was doing that for a client but not only was I head of the team, me and my wife were the team. And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what ended up burning us really bad doing the work because I never really set good boundaries around the scope of services
Hmm.
that we were providing. And so we were doing social media management, writing newsletters, setting up new social media channels, print work,
Yeah.
and all kinds of other stuff that wasn't necessarily related to what we came on for, the mission that we established before. And since I didn't have the experience, I ended up absolutely like we ended up being underwater because we were doing more extra work that we never
100%.
agreed to on the front end. Just because I didn't set those boundaries. That's a lesson. If you guys are business owners out here, especially if you're freelancers, stand on your square, set your boundaries early. Even it may cost you a client or two, but it will absolutely be worth it. Um,
100%. I learned that same lesson. I've been in the game for 20 plus years at this point, and I learned that lesson many times over. It took a while for that to get beat into my head that like, no, don't do everything. Don't, you always eh, eh, I don't know if it's the Midwest in us, but you always want to over deliver all the
yep.
time. So I said yes to everything and didn't realize that saying yes to everything, while that makes everybody feel comfortable in the moment, you don't deliver top quality,
Mm.
you're delivering late, it's a bad experience for your client, and it's completely stressful for you as the marketing person, the marketing agency owner or whatever, to get all that work done. So in the fractional CMO, what I learned as, as the years progressed is this is where I became the system builder and the business mechanic, is that I got really good at building the systems and deploying those to the right people in order to operate at an efficient level for both my company and for the companies and the teams that I help build. Um, a short story or short example would be, um, one of my past clients was, their construction company. They had multiple locations across the country, and I developed a complete social media curation system. So each location had what we called a uh, content curator, like
Mhm.
at a museum, right? So they would curate content for their location. They'd send all that content to a SharePoint drive or whatever, or Google Drive, and there'd be a main, like the top level content curator that I worked with directly. We'd go over what they have, make it fit into the calendar, make it fit into the confines of what we've developed as, what type of media we're posting and that stuff, right? And then we'd post it. We'd get it scheduled. They do all that. I basically was just an overwatch of all of this after I built that system. So that's one thing that a fractional CMO does, is build those systems internally for those other teams.
All right. And I think it sounds, when you start looking at it, a lot of times everything sounds good in theory. Like all ideas, I used to say all ideas are bad until we test them out. But
Hmm.
every idea sounds great. And a lot of times, even, and I know that we've talked about it when you're looking at fractional CMO sounded like this new thing, and it sounded great for application from the Midwest because it's other places. It happens in other places. You
Yeah.
could see people posting looking for a fractional CMO at like some of these Fortune 500 companies or whatnot, or startups essentially, because they don't want to hire a marketing team quite yet. But then you get into the weeds of it and you're like, okay, um, I'm doing all the planning and all the executing. And the rub is, as soon as I get a system set up that you guys feel like you can use, I've essentially replaced myself in your business.
Hmm.
And or you believe that you replace me. Like in that you kind of get into that kind of stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but that's another show. And we could riff on that all day. I just wanted to kind of let the audience know what fractional CMO actually does.
Yeah, for sure.
Today we're going to talk about the ROI of integrity and talk about AI ethics for business and marketing. Um, we want to have this conversation because I realize that in certain segments of the internet, and even in my own household, AI can be a flashpoint. Um,
Hmm.
and what we're seeing is, and Brian and I have talked about it off air. One of the things that we see is um, people are rightfully pissed off about people doing AI slop, lazy, no creativity, no oversight, just crap. They just use AI to puke out something and slap it online, or use AI to rip somebody off and create something that isn't really necessarily original. And we're kind of here talking about how you utilize this technology, because the reality is the stuff we're talking about with AI, large language models, this is not new. Like it's been around for a long time. Um,
100%.
it's more mainstream now, and the mainstream adoption is there, but the tinkerers have always known about this stuff. Um, and have always kind of played around with it. But now we're seeing it at scale. And so, as such, AI ends up becoming the boogeyman, and it becomes shorthand for ripping somebody off or crappy work and stuff like that. And so, we're talking about the ethics of deploying it in your business or your marketing strategy, and providing a framework so that you're actually an ethical user of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and not just the ethics and moral behind it, and then also, not producing slop, and trying to understand kind of where how you walk that line, I think is kind of what we'll get into today a little bit. Um, and we'll always kind of push it back to marketing, right? Because
Right.
that's where we kind of live. But um, AI, like Brian said, it's been used by people like us for quite a long time, and it's hit the mainstream, and everyday people are using it, not just
Mhm.
techie guys, not just us marketing nerds, or us marketing tech type guys. It's being used by, you know, everyday people in the office. It doesn't matter what it is. People are using it to write emails. Um, I can't tell you how many friends that have just random jobs. I don't have a list in front of me, but
Mhm.
they're typical office jobs, or they're uh, warehouse management or things like that. They're using Copilot from Microsoft because every bigger business, or any business of scale, uses Microsoft products typically. So they're in there doing reports and stuff, and they're using Copilot AI, which I've never even messed with, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
to help them write things. And you don't want to be lazy with it, because some people just, hey, will you write this for me? And then, you know, and as it pertains to marketing, you pay that what we call the AI lazy tax, right?
Right.
Where your marketing it's showing that AI marketing converts 40% lower than putting a human touch on it, or making sure you even check it, or insert whatever there. The ethical choice is to verify your content and make sure it's actually something that's going to produce something for you, right?
Right.
So
And I've been in a meeting with, and we talked about this. This is months ago. I was in a meeting actually with a gentleman who was selling AI as a solution. Um, and it really wasn't. I mean, it is what it is. But we're in the meeting, and he looks at me dead in my face. Now, I'm a copywriter. That's how I got into marketing. Like that's what I started out as writing. And copywriting is words that sell. You write the words that sell. Hence the name of my business. I sell words. So I write. I've written books for people. I've written websites, brochures, social media, everything. Like that's kind of where my sweet spot was as a writer. And so dude looks me in my face and he's like, unfortunately, Brian, this what I'm selling is, this could replace you. And basically saying that, the AI can replace me as a copywriter. And yeah, I just okay, go off if that's what you think. Um,
yeah.
you know, then I go to the website and stuff like that. And the website, his website wasn't done, had misspellings on it and all kinds of other stuff. And it's like, bro, it looks like you could actually pay me to be your copywriter so I could actually finish your website. Because if you're relying on AI to do it, if you're selling this as a solution for you, or selling this as a solution, you probably need to apply it to yourself.
It makes me so mad when you told me the story. It makes me so angry that people are like that, because saying that to you doesn't it's very short-sighted, because does he realize someone with a background in copywriting plus AI, add that together, your knowledge plus AI
Right,
will pardon my French, but will kick the shit out of anybody using just AI.
right.
So that they don't even think about that. Like, these
And
are tools, man. This isn't a replacement.
well, and last week I ran down that prompt that prompt I engineered for myself to kind of have a AI assistant to help me write stuff. Like it kind of comes up with the idea, and then I punch up the idea, and it gives me a draft, and then I kind of finalize it and stuff like that. And it's kind of like having an in-house public, in-house editor and stuff. Um, and it's like, bro, I don't think you understand. Like I train my AI on a lot of my own philosophy, a lot of my own stuff that I've written or said. Um,
Hours,
yeah,
hours.
yeah, hours of stuff, hours of content dumped in there, and then said, okay, let's tap into, some of the top copywriters, and let's pull some examples of some of the signature campaigns that they've written, and reference those, and walk somebody through the 5 stages of awareness and all this other stuff. It's almost like saying, because I have a hammer, I don't need this carpenter to build my house. I got a hammer. Like I got the hammer.
Right.
Carpenter, you serve no purpose now because I have a hammer. AI is a tool, and your usage of the tool is going to determine where you sit in the market. If you only use it at a low level or look at it as this cure-all kind of fix-all thing, your output's going to be crap,
Yeah.
and your market, your audience is going to respond negatively towards it. Everybody's made the mistake of whipping through and posting something that was pure AI and not looking at it and just slapping it on something. You looking like, holy shit, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
And
Not giving it the right guardrails, not covering right. So like we have here as one of the notes to talk about is that Air Canada issue where
yep,
Air Canada got sued massively because they had a chatbot that someone was using and it promised them a discount. They're talking about it and they're trying to get a discount. It said it would give it to you and it didn't exist. It wasn't a real discount, but they didn't put the guardrails in for something like that. They just used what I would call AI slop
mm-hmm,
to to train their chatbot brain, and the courts ruled the company was liable, not
yep,
the software. So it's just a tool,
right.
you know,
And
and
if you don't feed it the
it
right
can be it
information,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry,
No,
I'm
I
just
was just
reading
gonna
what
it's
you're
the
saying.
same thing, it's just devastating. And even in that case, that wasn't even using AI as a tool, that was more of like, you sent this live robot out there as your spokesperson with no guardrails. You just sent
Yeah,
him out there. It's like sending a toddler out there to do work for Air Canada.
right. It's like Air Canada. Would you send your 13-year-old daughter out here to
Yeah.
speak
You get a
on behalf of
discount,
the
you get a discount, you get a discount, you know?
speak on behalf of the shareholders? What are you doing? And so, you know, it's powerful, but like you said, it's kind of a wild horse, and it will wreck you if you do not exercise some control over it and some restraint. Um, I've seen people. I've actually seen on the online space. We talked about this yesterday on the online content creator space. One of the barriers that I have with breaking through is this. Um, this is real. Um, I do like my bullshit detector is so strong that I cannot like sit here and tell you something that I don't believe is factual or can substantiate and a lot of people on like the YouTubes and the TikToks, they will go AI something up and they'll have no idea what they're talking about, no
Mhm.
concept of what they're talking about, but they'll state it as um, facts and factual information, and they are wildly successful doing it. And I don't have that in me. And
Right.
so I do think you have to exercise. You have to have a more. I always say this. This is a phrase I use a lot. You have to have a moral anchor to what you're doing. There has to be
Mhm.
some kind of thing, some kind of moral underpinning that is holding you to keep you from just going adrift and doing whatever, being led whatever directions the AI gods want to take you. But yeah, wild horse. It will break
Yeah.
you, or you will gain control over it.
Well, now that we've scared the hell out of everybody,
Yep.
let's ask this question. This could be a prompt for you for us to give out there if anybody wants to throw comments in here, or
Mhm.
maybe we just add to it at the end of the show. We'll add this to wherever we post this or whatever. But rate your anxiety. What's your AI anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10? You
Yeah.
know, are you scared to use it? Do you think it's cheating? Do you think it's are you terrified that it's going to take over the world? Where's your anxiety level
Yeah.
live from 1 to 10?
Right. Let's rate it on a scale of 1 being like a Furby, like the little cute Furby thing, and 10 being the Skynet Terminator apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like, where are you on that scale? Um,
I'm
and
a straight
we've
5
yeah,
because I feel like it depends on who's using it.
right,
That's my answer when people ask me, "Are you terrified it's going to take over the world?" I'm actually not, but I am terrified that somebody could do some bad things with it.
right.
So
I'm more of a 6. I'm on 6 after seeing the videos that, people are generating with Google, and that
the video stuff's scary.
yes, video stuff is scary. I'm not a 10 because I've experienced somebody who is on a 10. with like Skynet, Terminator, Apocalypse. Um, and it's not there yet. I don't think it's ever going to get to that point. And a lot of people will talk about the AI bubble and stuff like that. There's going to be a finite. There's a ceiling to this thing because there's only so much some of these companies can spend on processing power and stuff like that, and so there's a hard cap. Now, the self-aware, all that stuff where AI becomes self-aware, that sounds good for news, and that's a good uh, hot
YouTube
news
video.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's context that's missing out of those conversations. Um, where what was it? Who was it? Was it Sora or something where the AI was trying to back itself up or duplicate itself or trying to bribe the engineers in some kind of way? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. We'll see what happens with it, but I think there's a lot of fear mongering. Like I said, um, you know, it's kind of like every generation. There's always the new thing that everybody's scared of. This morning I saw, was it Australia banned
Social
social
media for
media
teen.
for teenagers, and it's like I understand the theory, and I worked with kids. I get it. Like I understand 100%.
I don't know how
Pro
that's I don't even know how that's I mean, I saw that headline and I didn't read it because I thought it was absurd because
Yeah,
how do you actually do that? What's the determination on the end of the phone if it's a teen or if it's an adult and those kind of things and
it's going to use AI to determine how old somebody is based on their what videos they watch and what videos they consume and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, like if it was placed on me, like I was watching old episodes of GI Joe on my phone, and
right.
Yu-Gi-Oh
I
Card
still
Masters.
I still
So,
I still indulge myself in the old DuckTales episodes
right.
every once in a while, you know what I mean?
And so is that going to
I'm
get me
aging
kicked
myself, but
off? Is that going to get me kicked off of but that's how they're implementing it. That's how they're implementing it in Australia. So the social media platforms have the AI tools to try to suss out how old you are and kick you off based
mhm,
on that. The thing that you guys don't, and this is one of the things, it's kind of an aside, but it's not really. Whenever you install some kind of prohibition on something, people are going to find novel ways to get around it. And that just means it's off the radar and you're not aware of the ways that they're utilizing to get around it. So it's going to be interesting to see because it's going to be a monkey see, monkey do thing. There's going to be some senator somewhere around here that tries to do the same thing in the United domestically, um, not understanding that if anybody knows the technology and knows how to the trap doors on the technology, kids know it before we do.
100%. They're always ahead. I mean, I was
So
always ahead.
yeah, like I said
Uh,
last week, my daughter figured out how to get around watching commercials on her YouTube by turning on airplane mode. She figured out when she was little. So
yeah.
um, let's
I was
go
gonna
into the
talk about the
go
the
ahead.
4 pillars.
We're on the same accord. All right, cool. Let's
All
go.
right, let's go. The 4 pillars of business trust, when it as it pertains to AI, right? So, the 4 pillars are transparency, authenticity, privacy, and responsibility. So, I'll kinda go over the first 2, and I'll let Brian hit those last 2.
Okay.
Um, Transparency when using, AI. These are the kind of the things you should follow as a business or as an employee, you know. Transparency, don't be a catfish. If you fake the human, you're gonna lose the trust, right?
Mhm.
And wrapping that right back with the next pillar, which is authenticity. Authenticity is a premium product right now. You can tell it. You can see the YouTube algorithms. You
Mhm.
know, it was cool to watch all them Bigfoot videos when they first came out, and everybody's likes some of these faceless channels that are doing just AI, uh, videos or pictures or whatever with AI voiceovers of text. Um, they're losing steam. They were popular. People were watching them. They didn't know they were watching them because there was no transparency, right?
Right.
But the true winners of YouTube and everything else right now, as far as video, is the authentic people that are filming themselves. You can tell it's real. You can
Mhm.
tell it's if I can tell it's not AI, that's a premium product now.
Right.
So
Right.
you can jump right back into the other ones. Or if
Um,
you have something to say about that, yeah.
I mean, authenticity is the thing, and like I said, people are more aware of because now some of these tools that people use to do the AI voiceovers are now more mainstream, and so you see ads for them, and so they can tell. Like you can tell when somebody's doing an AI voiceover. I've had my fill of AI voiceover videos where it's all AI slop, especially in the nerd space, because there's specific things as a comic book nerd. You could tell when somebody makes a voiceover video that's just completely AI generated because it'll be dead wrong about a lot of stuff.
And
Um,
they don't say some of the names right. Like, I was
they'll say,
watching these recipe videos. They kept saying Bisquick.
yeah,
It's Bisquick. You know what I
that
mean?
they'll say the names wrong, or they'll use the same turn of phrase. Um, the dark side, like I saw the dark side of the Incredibles movie. Like this is AI slop in this of AI
Right.
voiceover, and somebody just spit out a crap video. Another pillar of business trust is don't be a creep. Just because you could scrape data doesn't mean that you should scrape data from people. Like, I mean, use some discretion, specifically when it comes to creative endeavors. Like you're just scraping other people's books. And here's the thing, um, they've kind of boiled down. Like if you're familiar with the Save the Cat entire story framework, they've kind of distilled storytelling down, stripped it down to what works commercially. And so a lot of this stuff is just kind of reiterative and, but don't just steal somebody's entire thing
Right.
and slap it in AI and try to make it your own, you know? It's nothing wrong with saying that somebody inspired you or you got this knowledge for somebody else or shouting out somebody else, elevating somebody else. I always make sure if I have a thought, I say such and such put this over, shout out to this person, just kind of let people know, hey, this is not my original idea, but I'm building an original idea based on the framework they provided. So,
100%. The problem is that be an adult about it, and that's how we all should be, right? Don't
mhm,
copy and paste people's stuff, but they're making it real hard for people not to. Like, I don't remember. I know OpenAI, ChatGPT
mhm,
has their own browser now. I can't remember what the other browser was or who's doing it, but their own browser, right?
yeah,
So you can just with a little prompt on the side of it that you can tell it like, hey, here's I'm going to log in here. Here's a bunch of addresses or whatever, or here's a story of somebody. Scrape all this and give it to me, you know, and you can have like a live web scraper right in the browser now for any page you visit. It's wild.
yeah,
So they're not making it easy to not be a creep,
right,
and you have to have some sort of, I don't know, morals and ethics with you,
yeah,
and like you said, have that anchor in you that this is the right way to do it. So don't steal other people's stuff.
yeah. If you wouldn't steal it in real life, don't steal it in AI world either. Um, and you are the editor in chief. This is the last pillar. You're the responsibility. You're the editor in chief. You're liable for every word that AI outputs and that you decide to post on your social media or on your website and everything else. Um, I've had it where an AI suggested some wild coupon that we were not offering and a service that did not exist. And so had I not been there to say this is actually an outline or a draft and this is something I'm working off of, if I would have just gone straight from AI and posted that, um, without looking, I would have been offering a service that did not exist for one of my businesses. And I'm responsible for if people contact me about it, to explain to them, no, I don't really have the capacity to do that right now.
Right.
But
And going back to the privacy thing where you were saying don't be a creep, just copy and paste some people's stuff. If you do that and someone comes back and says, "Hey, you're posting that's actually licensed content. You can't post that, and I'm suing
right,
your ass now." So,
right.
I mean, that's on you.
Well, and here's the thing. So I know, was it CapCut? CapCut had this big thing, and they changed some of their language. And the reason why I'm saying CapCut is basically an AI powered video editor. Um,
Mhm.
CapCut had this thing, and it changed the terms of service that anything you create in CapCut, um, at the time was ByteDance. I don't know what their conglomerate is now, but at the time, ByteDance, anything you create in a CapCut, ByteDance could use commercially, and they didn't have to pay you royalties. They didn't need your permission. And if somebody sued you over a clip that CapCut used for marketing, they would just pass the lawsuit on to you.
That's wild.
Yeah. So that's the kind of
Yeah.
vulnerability it leaves you out there with. And they're not going to look at, say, well, CapCut or ByteDance is the one that showed. No, they're going to say this person created this video, and so go sue
Mm-hmm.
them. We're not in it, even though we promoted the video and we put it on your feed. We're not in this thing. So
100%.
let's get into the cost of getting it wrong. What is it? 60% of customers can Uncanny Valley, 60% of customers can't tell if a brand interaction is human or AI. And if they feel betrayed, they will absolutely bounce on you. I've seen it on YouTube. We just talked about it with voiceover videos.
Mm-hmm. So I can even take this back to a little bit of before AI,
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it. Where how many people you've seen trying to get to a phone, trying to get to a live agent on a phone because they don't want to deal with
Right.
this phone system, and it's a very archaic form of AI, but the same thing. You're
Right.
sitting there going, I mean, you've seen the meme videos where people are yelling at it like live agent,
Yeah.
and it's just like, yeah, that's people don't people don't want to be tricked, and that's been part of, as marketers, our our job is to, I learned this from Dan Kennedy, ethically persuade people to a conclusion that they are looking for, right? And ethically persuade them to a solution that helps them in the end,
Right.
not trick them into buying something that they don't need. And that's why people don't like car salesmen. They got a bad rap.
Right.
People don't like salespeople because they do the same thing. They don't want to. I don't want to be tricked. So.
Well, and the car salesman thing, it kind of extends out because there's levels of manipulation that happen there. And that's why people don't necessarily feel like dealing with them. And AI will do the same thing. It's kind of the same bucket of feelings that you get. You know,
Mhm.
the whole the offer your water. They offer you water. Sorry, my friends that are auto dealers. I'm about to just let the cat out of the bag. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I got
It's
a
it's
couple
a
too, but
it's kind of the law of reciprocity. When you walk in, they offer you a bottle of water.
mhm,
They're hoping that bottle of water that costs them fractions of a cent, in exchange for receiving that, you will uh, reciprocate by purchasing a $20,000 or $30,000 vehicle. Um, on a installment plan. That's how it works. They put you in the car and let you drive the car so you can start visualizing yourself in the car and get the new car smell on you and all that other stuff. There's a lot of really underhanded things that they'll do to keep you in the building. And one of the things I did last time I was in for a car dealer, I told bro, like, hey man, if at any point you're making me wait for no reason, this is done. Don't keep me here waiting. Don't offer me anything to drink. I got my own water bottle. And this is how much I'm willing to pay for this car.
yeah,
Um, but people don't like that. That's why I hate going to car dealerships. Like it's something that
same.
I dread. I do not want to ever go. I don't want to have to go through that experience. Um, but yeah, people feel uncanny valley is that thing where you're not looking at something that's quite human. Think was it the movie The Polar Express,
Right.
where you're looking at it and you're like, this is human enough to be unsettling.
Yeah,
And that's kind of how people feel with AI.
yeah, and then you got like our next little cost of getting it wrong here. This little
Hmm.
point is AI is starting to train on other AI content. So AI originally was trained on all the content that the humans created over the
Hmm.
last 1,000 years or whatever, 2,000 years, right? Now all the AI slop, and not all slop, but just the AI slop plus any of the good AI output, it's all out there now, and that's what it's training itself on top of the 2,000 years of human history, right?
Right.
Um, and so now they call that AI inbreeding, right? So it's going to lead to more generic, more the content, the output may get worse if we don't do it correctly, if we don't start putting guardrails in, or if you don't
Right.
put guardrails in when you create things, you're going to get weird outputs.
Yep. And I think that's the thing. I mean, that's what happens when you don't provide oversight to it, because I've experienced weird AI outputs, and I've actually gone back and said, I did not say that, and that is not true. Or I would say that's factually incorrect. Please try again. And then the AI will apologize and say, but it'll have brain farts and stuff like that. And sometimes it'll reference other things that aren't real. Sometimes it'll give you it'll ask for a source and it'll cite an article that doesn't exist. I mean, these are
Hmm.
real occurrences, and so you have to it again. The I think the point that we're making, guys, is it's not a complete and utter replacement for your brain. It's kind of an online enhancement to help you sort your thoughts um, in ways that you couldn't do before. But if you're trying to use this completely to replace yourself or replace your effort, um, you're gonna experience failure to launch really quick.
So we can go into a couple. These are kind of the laws or whatever. But I call
Yep.
they're more like this is what might be a bad way to do it. Here's how we fix it. So let's do a couple of those, I think, and then
Okay.
so the trap would be using AI to clone your voice for cold calls or deep fake videos to pitch clients. So they're not really talking to you; they're talking to you know a 25-year-old beautiful blonde woman or something, or
Mhm.
whatever, and it's not really you, right? The verdict on that one, unethical, obviously, right?
Right.
People buy from people they want to buy from you. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. We all know that if we're into
Mhm.
marketing at all. So the fix would be the automation for the process, for the scheduling, the receipts, the systems behind all that. Humans are for the actual persuasion part, the ethical persuasion part. AI should be used for following up or distributing your human knowledge out to potential customers or current customers or whatever. So if a
And
chatbot is talking, the first line of code must be, "Hi, I'm the company chatbot. That's what I am." You're talking to an AI. That's what you going back to what you were saying. Let them know that this is what's going on.
right.
You know,
Give them the option of whether they want to talk to the company chatbot or not, but don't make them think the company chatbot is a real person.
right?
It's like, okay, and this is a weird example. Going to McDonald's and the chatbot on McDonald's starts talking to you, and
Yeah,
then so it sounds like some British lady, and then then some American teenager picks up the line when you actually it's disconcerting, and it just is kind of a jarring experience. That's what you're
yeah,
doing to your clients if you're just utilizing a AI chatbot and not necessarily disclosing what they are.
yeah.
So,
Like I have
all
a
right,
very specific McDonald's order, and this I know for a fact that this chatbot's not gonna get it.
right.
It's not gonna get it right. Yeah, I hate that. I don't go
S-
to one of the McDonald's around here because of that.
just because you
100%.
just because you don't want to listen to
Yeah,
the obvious chat bot, like, why is
yeah.
this? So some British person is working in a McDonald's in Omaha, Nebraska. How does this work? um so law two, let's talk about the creep factor in privacy.
This
So
is a good one.
the trap is uploading a prospect's LinkedIn, PDF, and tax returns into ChatGPT to write a perfect cold email. Ooh, that's really
Diabolical.
that is absolutely egregious, bro. Yes, that is completely unethical. You're personalizing without permission. That's cyber stalking somebody. Okay. And the litmus test is, if I reference this on a first date, would it be charming or stalking? Or would she smile politely, finish the dinner, and then block you instantly as soon as she got out to the Uber? Um,
And maybe call the cops.
and call the cops. That's how you test that theory. Will this get me blocked?
Right.
Um,
That's what's up though. Like so like you can get that information, um, you know, and it's creepy, man.
yeah.
It's creepy, you know.
And
It's a
some people
lot
have no
different than like
compunction
because
about it.
that story about Gary V back in the day where he someone sent him a Jets jersey signed because they knew he liked the Jets or something like that, and
Mhm.
it got him a phone call with this guy, and they ended up working things out. That doesn't seem as creepy. I mean,
Mhm.
but uploading like someone's tax returns or like a their resume and trying to like really dial in who they are and I don't know, that's just a whole level different level of creepy.
Well, and it's kind of a jarring thing. I've been where somebody's seen one of my videos, and they went to the same gym. They saw me at the gym and said, "I see your videos, man. I see you all the time. Good. That's great, man. Appreciate it." But then it's also like, oh, this is a new level that I never expected.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad thing. Dude was cool and everything, and wanted to collab on some stuff, but I guess it is kind of off-putting. And so
Mhm.
if this action that you use AI for if that would get you blocked, if you're talking to a stranger and the stranger would say, "Oh, that's weird," and they block you, it's probably not a good idea to use AI to do it. Like that's probably not your best use of AI if people found out you were doing it and they blocked you on social media. All
Yeah.
right.
Going into that third one, I'll let you take it. Go ahead. Because
Okay.
this is a big deal. Like if you're using the free version of ChatGPT, there's yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Posting profit and loss sheets, client lists, or legal strategy on the free version of ChatGPT. Do not do that. Don't don't do that. Please
Don't
don't
share
do
anything private in the free version.
don't do that. Um, Basically, the risk is you just train the public model on your trade secrets. And the fix, you go to data settings and turn off chat history and training. Yeah, don't feed the free version of chat gpt anything that you wouldn't give a competitor.
Yeah, turn that setting off. Even in the paid version, you gotta go set it off. It's on by default. But like
Yeah.
I don't wanna train their thing. I wanna train my little brain here that I'm building. And that's the number one thing with ChatGPT, the paid version that I like are the project folders or however you want they call them projects.
Yep.
They're basically folders that are their own little brains. They actually now the newest version, they all work together still now, but they're specific when you're in those folders, your chats are pertaining strictly to that project and it's very helpful and I'm deviating a little bit, but
Hmm.
I want to build that. Build I'm not trying to help them.
Right. Well, and it's kind of a walled garden, so your stuff can't really escape out into the wild. So there's a different
Right.
level to that. But yeah, the free version, and a lot of people just use the free version of this stuff. And I think we have to explain for the audience there are different levels. So some of the stuff we're talking about, um, I may be glitching out here. My internet's kind of choppy right now. But some of the stuff we're talking about is kind of exclusive to the paid version of these platforms. And
Yeah.
so you're talking to people that actually pay for the usage of it because we're utilizing a lot of this for business purposes. And so it's almost like it keeps us from having to, you know, you know, do VA work or bring in extra VA and stuff. It allows us to do that because if I brought in a VA, a virtual assistant, on one end, they probably wouldn't have enough work to justify me having them on board, and I probably couldn't pay them enough to keep the lights on for them. And so
Right.
AI is kind of that medium place. Um, but like I said, my friend out in the trend in Silicon Valley is they're offloading a lot of tasks to AI. Like they're
Yeah.
telling a lot of the younger workers, some of the junior workers, no, we don't. You're not supposed to write that report. I need AI to do that for you. I want you to do other stuff. So,
Yeah. So those are the obvious things that like they're pretty obvious egregious things that are
yep,
kind of like damnable AI offenses, right?
yeah,
But there is a gray zone, right?
right, right,
So we can get into some of those like the Zoom snitch, right? Before I get into the Zoom snitch, one thing that I'm going to tell people like please don't do this is it goes back to the egregious one. People right now are taking they're getting like an Uber Eats order or Grubhub or whatever, right? I think
hmm
I told you about this, Brian,
yep,
where they're getting their food, they take a picture of their burger or whatever, and then they tell AI to make it look like the burger's not cooked. When they send that in and say, "Hey, my burger wasn't cooked. I need my money back, a refund." That's diabolical as well. Like, don't
yeah,
do that.
yeah. Don't be a dick. Like,
Yeah,
don't be a dick.
pretty much,
I mean,
right?
that might be the golden rule of AI. Don't be a dick, and
Yeah,
don't do things that are going to rip people off. When you do that kind of stuff, you're actually hurting the Uber driver. You're not. It's not the faceless corporation. You're actually impacting them
yeah,
personally. That's not cool.
yeah. Yeah. So sorry about that. It's a little deviation. I wanted to add that to the diabolical things. The gray zone, something that you could debate either side really. So this one's called the Zoom snitch, where say you record a client Zoom call, right?
Yep.
And you use AI to summarize it. No problem there. I do that just so I don't forget things. But then you email that summary to a vendor, not the client, but a vendor who wasn't on the call. So is that efficiency or is that a breach of privacy that you had a conversation? You're taking it from what the AI recorded and you're sending it right to somebody else. It's it's
I think that's a breach.
I would say don't do that, but
Yeah. I say that's a breach of privacy. And whenever I'm on a like a Google Meet call or something, I always tell people, now we're going to start recording and let them know
mhm,
I'm recording and transcribing, so that if there's anything that if they have opposition to it or say let's not, I can avoid doing that and I can manually take notes. Um, but yeah, disclosure is going to be the thing that gets you out of this.
mhm.
Disclose. I'm recording this and transcribing it for my own notes. Is that okay with you? And these notes may be seen externally.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Go go ahead with scenario B. This I don't know, man. Go ahead.
You can use NVIDIA to broadcast fake eye contact in a sales video while you read a script. Is that polishing the production or lying about your attention? That is polishing the production. I have ADHD. I have a very difficult time maintaining eye contact, and
I
um,
too would do this, but I
I've
don't think
done
there's anything
this.
wrong.
One of my video editors, I used a script and it has automatic eye contact, and I've done that just because I suck at reading on teleprompters and maintaining eye contact, and I don't have like a digital teleprompter behind my camera, so I have to look at the screen. So I've done this one. Um, I don't feel like it's lying about attention. I think it's if I edit a video and cut out this piece where I'm rambling, am I lying? When I give you the video that I've edited, no, I'm not. Just editing out the pieces that don't look right to me.
I agree. And my number one thing is I've done similar things, and it's because I don't want to. When I'm talking to somebody, I'm having a conversation. I don't want to miss anything.
Right.
You talk to somebody for an hour or two in a client meeting or a discovery call, and I'm not saying I do it on all of those. I'm just saying in this debate here, I would say I would want them to feel more comfortable that I'm maintaining, contact with them and I'm not missing anything. So I agree too on this side. It's polishing the production a little bit.
Right. And it's kind of a nonverbal communication thing because I like if we're on here and I may look down at my phone to pull up a note or something, the last thing I want to do is make it seem like I am ignoring my guest or my host or co-host.
100%.
But I also need to look that in order to maintain the quality of the show. May need to check something on my phone. And so, yeah, I don't necessarily
Well,
think that's a big deal. I would probably preface it by saying, if we're in that and you say, hey, I may be checking my notes, I'm paying attention to you. Like
yeah, I was just
transparency
gonna
is going to
say
help.
that. Yeah, going back to what you said about the other one, just disclose it,
Yeah.
right off the bat. Say, hey, if I'm looking off a little bit, I got notes. I don't want to miss anything. I'm not ignoring you. So there's a ways around it, so you don't have to use that technology. But I still think it's okay if again with the moral anchor, if
Yeah.
your intent behind it is you're just trying to be efficient and be be good with your guest or your client, then I'm all for it.
Right. Right. So,
Um, Scenario
see,
C,
yeah.
the situation, you clone your own voice to leave happy birthday voicemails for 500 clients. Is it your voice? Oh, it is your voice, but you didn't say it. Um, is it thoughtful automation or efficient insulting? I don't. Again, you're talking to two marketers, so I'm going to say this is efficient.
Yeah.
Not efficient insulting. I think it's thoughtful automation.
Yeah.
In the sense that I would say I would record an actual birthday message,
Hmm.
um, and then this would just be me. I would record the message, and then I would record 500 client names, like back in the day the radios used to do.
Hmm.
I might do that, or just a general happy birthday message, and then send it out. Because I mean, it's just like my insurance agent sends me a birthday card. Me and my wife birthday cards every year, right?
Right.
And they're handwritten, and
Yeah.
it's cool. It's whatever, but I'm not offended by it. I get it. It's it. I think it gives you a little bit. It doesn't do much as far as like doesn't give you juice, but it gives a little bit. But it's not hurting anything. I would call it thoughtful automation. That's
I don't know. For me, I see where it's like, okay, it's consideration. It's a marketing thing. Like these marketers thing,
mhm.
For me, I would be like, my take on it would be I'm not calling 500 people. I'll call 50 people or call 5 people and tell them happy birthday.
Oh,
Well, but
100%. If I'm
yeah,
the top 10 people that are truly paying the bills and they've
yeah.
got 90% of my revenue, I'm calling them personally.
Yeah. And then, maybe, happy birthday. This is the office of blah, blah, blah. We're just calling to say happy birthday. Then somebody could
Yes.
kind of detect that it's a recording and stuff like that, where it's not, hey, what's up? It's Brian. Like my son has that on his voicemail. It pisses me off to this day, where I'll call and he'll say, the voicemail will say, hello.
Yeah, no.
And it's like,
I got friends that do that, and it's like, you start talking,
yeah.
I'm not here right now after 10 seconds.
He's like, yeah, my dad's calling me. I got to talk to you later. Just kidding, guys. Like, no, but my son's a troll, and that's what he does. He trolls. Um, so the voice clone, I could see how I could utilize it either way. I could go either way on this one. As long as there's thought behind it. Like if this is
Yeah.
actual you being thoughtful as opposed to you just doing it because that's what you think you're supposed to do. I almost feel like we have to look at intent behind it. All right. Let's see. All right. The
Employee
man,
policy.
yeah, employee policy. That's what I was looking at. Management employee policy. The
Yeah.
lazy intern check. Here's the rule: employees must implement the 10% human rule. Okay. AI does the 90 where it's drafting and doing research. Human does the 10% where you're changing the tone. You're actually doing your own fact check. You're actually sitting down and making sure AI isn't lying. um, and the warning: if an employee sends out a raw AI output to a client, it's a fireable offense because you open yourself up to lawsuits, litigation, promises, breach of contract, all kinds of stuff, a cascade of events that can happen because the intern was just being lazy.
Yeah. And then as part of like an employee policy, that's kind of an overarching AI employee policy. You need to explicitly ban these items like that you use when you're prompting or talking to AI: client passwords, HR disputes, any financial information, medical data. I mean, I read these off and we make these notes, right? And then I read them live and
Mhm.
I'm going, this to me seems like a no brainer, but people are doing it. That's why this is here. That's why it has to be talked about.
Yeah. And
And then
if you're on
you
your
have to
own
explicitly
employee,
ban those.
if
Yeah,
you're your own employee, you need to bang yourself from doing that stuff too.
right. Now, explicitly allow these things: brainstorming, outlining, Excel formulas, grammar checking, things like that. The tool, those are all tool things. Like you can see the difference here, right?
Mhm.
Like outputting inputting stuff that's private and shouldn't be talked about with the whole entire world, you don't use. And then you want to allow the tool usage of what AI is really good at right now, which is brainstorming, outlining. I have done the Excel formula thing before, and
Mhm.
then grammar checking. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And understand that AI is going to get rid of the person that's going to get hit hardest when we talk about AI jobs going away. The shitty managers are going to be the first ones that go. Like they're
Yeah,
going to be the first ones that are impacted by it. The ones that aren't doing they aren't doing their due diligence as managers. Those are going to be the first ones to see the exit. And so you just got to be aware of that. And so if you're a manager, if you're in one of those leadership positions, you got to step your game up a little bit, and be a little bit more indisposable to your employees. My goal when I was a manager, I used to tell my staff, my goal is to try to remove the obstacles so that you can do your job most efficiently, right?
100%.
And if I'm more of a hindrance to you doing the job that needs to be done, then I'm not doing my job as the manager. I'm supposed to provide the buffer and protection from the company on up, but at the same time, I'm supposed to make sure that you don't have obstacles limiting your ability to be successful.
For this next one, it's not showing on our show notes here. So
Mhm.
if you, I'm going to try to share my screen so we don't miss this the industry kind of rapid fire thing, because this is I really want to talk about this because a lot of the people we talk to, Brian, are they're in real estate, they're consulting or coaching, they do e-commerce, they do restaurants, they do whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of this green light red light thing that I wanted to do. So give me a quick second here.
Okay.
Share screen. It's just the text version of our notes here. Window. Right. Let me know if that's
Yep, I
that
see
working.
it. Yeah, I see it on my end. You want me to put it on the stage? Because that's the only way I could see it. You
Yeah.
or you may not. All right. Cool.
So, um, so a green light. This is just kind of a real rapid fire green light, red light of ways to use it and not use it as specific to certain industries, right? So,
Okay.
first one I'll take is green light, virtual staging. So adding, if you're a real estate agent and you have a house you're showing and you're trying to send pictures of something, adding a digital couch to kind of see how things fit in the room or how things can look, right?
Mhm.
That's okay. That'd be a good use of uh, Nano Banana from Gemini, how to the image editor, the AI image editor, just to kind of see and help people visualize themselves in a house, right?
Right.
Red light would be virtual renovation, digitally removing power lines that aren't in the backyard or cracks in a wall. That's fraud.
Or
So
that dead body over there, like get that dead body
yeah,
out of get that dead body out of the corner, man. We don't want to
exactly.
show them that.
Yeah, yeah.
um okay. All right.
You can go ahead and
So
take the next
consulting,
couple if you
green
want.
light. Yep. Consulting and coaching. Green light, using AI to summarize a client call for your notes. Happens all the time. Been doing it since 2011. Um, red light, using AI to write the custom strategy plan and sending it without reading over it. Yeah. And that's YouTube world. That's what we see on YouTube a lot.
100%. Yeah,
Somebody will ask AI a question like, give me the top industries that people can use as side hustles. So ask AI that, and then AI will puke out all these side hustles, and then they'll just read it verbatim. And their audience will absolutely go do these side hustles like it's easy to just be a trucker in your part time.
yeah.
Or my thing has always been reselling because that's what I've done. I've done reselling before on Amazon and whatnot. I've done
Yep.
the reselling and stuff, and people saying that that can be a side hustle. It's not.
Yeah.
Nothing that is a side
It's a
hustle about reselling.
full time job if you
It is
want to
a
make money.
it's a full-time job. If you ever want to be out of the red, you have to fully commit to it. All right.
Yeah. Uh, e-commerce, green light would be AI models wearing your shirt. I've done this. I've done a lot of apparel. I've had clients. I've done it myself. Apparel e-com sites,
Mm-hmm.
and it's way too inefficient to try to keep your merchandise and your designs and stuff up to date and then get photos. It's AI models wearing a shirt that you created, a design that you created, and is ready to go, and you have ready on hand to be ordered and delivered. Totally fine. Red light, AI models wearing a t-shirt you haven't even manufactured yet. That's false advertising. And by
Yep.
manufactured, they're specifically talking here like you're like using AI designs and they're not fully vetted and like ready to be printed or they're ready to be created, right? It's just some image and you're throwing it out there and putting it on an AI model. Not the best use. This is a little bit on the gray area, but
Mhm.
it's still false advertising.
Yep. And a lot of times people will look at the models to see how the fit of the t-shirt and stuff. And then when they get the t-shirt doesn't fit like that. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
that's a different beast
yeah.
in it altogether.
And I've done that, and then I ended up changing it to be no, I'm just going to show the shirt,
Right.
right, instead of it on a model because I had those reviews, and I've had clients have had those reviews, and they've said, we're getting complaints that this doesn't fit like it does on the model, and it's like you're right. So let's just put the design out there. Let's kind of show that if we have and we can do photos, let's do that. But if not, let's just keep it to the style is or whatever.
Right.
You can take this off now. We can go back to
Okay.
full screen and
All right. Cool beans. All right. So, all right. So we're on to let's go ahead and start wrapping this up here. Closing thoughts. Um, let's look at the mom test. If you sent this AI generated message to your mom, would she know it wasn't you?
that's a good one.
Yeah. Uh,
You could call it the mom test. You could also call it the wife test because
the
I've
wife
sent
test.
some stuff to my wife before, and she's like, "Did you write that? You didn't write that." I was like, "I
I've
had help."
I've done that with thumbnails, like where I've had just kind of screwing around. I would have AI take my face and put it on the thumbnail for YouTube because you have to do the Mr. Beast thing where you have the bug eyed and you're pointing to something with your mouth open thumbnail.
Right.
Um, and I did that, and she's like, "Please don't do that anymore ever again. I don't know who this person is, and it's scaring me."
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, if the AI generated image or message, if you send it to your mom, which it wasn't you, if the answer is yes, then you rewrite it and you revise it because AI just can give you a draft, but you need to have hands on the final version of it. If no, then send it. I would say you always want to at least take a look at it and consider rewriting it, no matter how good you think it is.
100%. And even I will even throw this out there so people feel a little less, I don't know, because you and I both know they feel a little burdened by, okay, so you're telling me I still got to write stuff.
Hmm.
Okay. Yes. But I'll tell you this to give you a little bit of saving grace here is that you can use AI to do what you want it to do. Right. So
Right.
what do I mean by that? First output's your draft. You read it, you say, just be the editor. I
Mhm.
like this part. I want it to change it here. Do this for me. It does that. You read it again. You can use AI that way. That's still, in my opinion, this may be up in debate for the gray zone as well, but like, in my opinion, that is you writing it. I don't know how you feel about it. How do you feel about that? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like,
It makes sense. The way I utilize my AI is I feed it a lot of my stuff. So the pool of information it's pulling from is stuff that I've written and is
mhm,
pulling from that information. And so when I'm utilizing it to actually write a thing, is writing it based on the information of I fed it from my own creative stuff. And so
right.
I can use it to whittle down ideas and get lines of logic and make sure things align and stuff. Um, and I utilize it that way. Um, I'm still trying to figure out the gray areas around what I feel comfortable with from a creative standpoint, what I feel
Mhm,
comfortable with letting AI drive the boat on. Um,
yeah.
but and I can see it, if you're sitting there actively reading the output of everything and you're saying, use this word, not this word, consider revising this, you're actually doing what an editor does. A
Mhm,
writer will write something, and then the editor, when you give it to the editor will give you your edits. You go back and make the edits. So you're in the process. Basically, you're the editor. AI is the writer for you. Um,
yeah. And I think that's
that's
an okay it may be gray zone for some, but if you're being intentional with it, I think you're still putting human hands on it
right.
at that point. And I would
Yep.
say you're good to go. Um, yeah.
I believe that, and I can align with that one. Um, Again, my use of AI and Brian's use of AI, we train it on a lot of our own stuff, guys.
Yeah.
And when you pay for your own paid version, you have the opportunity of building your own custom AI that knows what you tell it to, what you want it to know. You can limit it. You can limit how much it reaches outside to pull information in. If you just want it to be an empty vessel that you just feed all of your stuff into, you absolutely can. And that can be a vital help in a creative side of things. So just be aware of that.
Yeah. And I think as kind of a final thing here, just trust is the currency of sales and marketing, right?
Hmm.
AI can create content, but only human intelligence can create trust.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. um and I think that's the biggest thing for business owners. You guys need to know, the if your client doesn't trust you, it doesn't matter whether you're using AI or whether you're using a real person. If the trust is damaged, they're not going to do business with you. um and you can do all the discounts and all the other stuff, you can be a commodity all you want to, but if they don't have that element of trust in you, they're not going to do business with you. So just keep that in mind. And any number one of the any without disclosure, without being transparent with people, a lot of these things can feel like a breach of trust on the client's end. So really think about your usage of it and say, would I be okay if this happened? Would I be okay with this if I was in the client's shoes? Is this if this was my experience, how would I feel about it?
100%. I agree 100%. And trust can take years to build, right?
Yeah.
But you can lose it in seconds, and it takes even longer to repair. So that's really, I mean, we've kind of hit all the bases today. I hope that gives everybody a good lay of the land, and I hope you could take your AI anxiety
Yeah.
from a 10 to the 4, 5, 6 area,
Yeah.
because that's where you should be living. You should have a
Yeah.
little bit of anxiety, and that should keep your that would be your moral anchor telling you, something, to keep you in that 4, 5, 6 anxiety range with AI.
Right. And understand Skynet is not happening tomorrow, and the
Right.
Matrix isn't happening next week. So there's still a lot of gaps in the technology, guys. And it's not a perfect fail safe system. And so it's only as good as the person utilizing it. And if you aren't that person that's going to give some shape and provide the quality, AI will not do it for you. So take it how you
With
want. But
that, yeah.
yep, that's what we got. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yes,
Ne-
appreciate it.
Next week we'll be back. We'll be back hopefully with graphics and intros and so all that other stuff, and then we'll have our socials laid out so that you guys can see where we're at. Um, we do have our stores and stuff like that. Um, I didn't post any of that stuff this week. Don't worry about it.
We'll get better at this. We'll get back. Brian and I are kind of throwing these things together last minute,
Yeah.
and we have a meeting. We have a networking meeting we go to every week, and we're like, okay, you want to do this again? That's kind of how
Hmm.
this one happened. And we said, yeah, let's do it again. So we'll hammer out the branding and all the specifics and links and stuff, and we'll get that
Yep.
more efficient and
We'll,
whatever. It's
we'll,
just
we'll,
no big deal now.
we'll be good marketers and have a call to action maybe next week for you, the guys, to engage with us.
One note that I always tell everybody before we go is marketers are notorious for not marketing themselves.
Right. That's the hardest part
We
for
spend
us.
too much time on our clients.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
That's the reality. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like asking a surgeon to operate on themselves.
Yeah.
It's kind of a difficult thing. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Yep. See you
Peace.
guys. Peace.